this is our standard corn soybean rotation. I got asked a question about the soil monitor. Well, just like everything else, sometimes stuff doesn't work, and sometimes it does. I guess I gotta have the oil. So we do have a soil probe in this field, but it was last updated 23 days ago. But 23 days ago, it was at 23% moisture. So, I mean, I can't say that with confidence because that's almost a month ago. But Beck was supposed to come fix those things, and they didn't get fixed. So we can't go off that probe. But Alex said it as soon as we walked in here. First thing you notice, you got volunteer corn. We got kochia all around the edge here. It's kind of spotty. There's some cover in spots with the corn stalks, but you just don't have that soft feeling on your feet as you do in that field. Are just some of my observations. I think we're gonna have a good bean crop. I think it'll harvest good. It's not that it looks totally terrible, but you get a different feel in this field.
The goal really isn't yield for these soybeans either. A win to me is doing the exact same as the grower beside me. That because I know I'm going to spend less money to raise that bushel, and I'm going to do less negatives. I'm going to have less chemical applied. I'm going to put some carbon into the ground. I'm going to have that biodiversity. So if this field, I would say this field, just looking at it today, is going to out yield this field. But like you said, they're a month ahead of each other. But I'm not doing it for yield necessarily. I want it to yield the exact same as everyone else. But if I do that, I know I won because I'm doing some positive things instead of, reducing the negatives that we do in our cropping systems. That's really a big part of what I'm doing.
I guess there are any questions about the differences between, or
Have you guys taken any tissue samples? You said you're doing Brix. What's the difference you've seen in the two fields? I guess I'd be curious on some of that information.
So the tissue sampling, I believe, Jay, just last week we did tissue on all the soybean and the corn. We have not gotten those results back yet. Brix, I hate to put Shadlet on the spot because I know she doesn't want me to, but
She's not even listening.
I don't even know where she is. Oh, she's back there talking. So she's not listening. She knows, she's been taking the averages on the Brix, so she is more familiar with it than I am. I would say that they're probably pretty close to similar. I don't know that they're that much different apart. You more see the difference in the Brix after like a herbicide application or after something like that. But I'd have to sit down with her and look at her charts. She's got it mostly done, but I don't have a copy of it yet. So I think this has been in corn bean rotation for 5 or 6 years now, and the biology in it is decreasing pretty rapidly. The carbon in it is decreasing pretty rapidly. Compared to our other fields. So, corn and beans aren't going away, and they're not necessarily evil plants, but we got to figure out how we can do it without going backwards. And I think to keep you all on the same page, we're a conservation demonstration farm. We'll see it too as we go down. We've got all sorts of different things going on. We have 4 fields of soybeans this year, which is incredibly different from what we typically do, and we've got 4 different fields of soybeans and probably 8 different ways to look at it between the controls and the different spray dates. We're here for information education. We're here to inform producers. We're trying to learn how to do this with conservation at the forefront, instead of it always being in the background. We want it to be at the front of the plow, and we're just trying to learn. And again, even though I said earlier we do everything out here perfect, that's far from the case. We learn more from our failures, and we've been learning a lot. So just want to keep that in mind before we finish out the tour. But
Jay, how does that spade look compared to the field?
So she's a little platier, Alex. I'll show you. So you can see the horizontal platiness. I made it borrow one both.
you probably got to have them both.
Yeah, I can hold it, Joe. Okay, thanks. So you got a little more platiness here. Anyone that like to take a look at it, we sure can. And so you get the slaking on the surface, and our pore spaces go shut. So building aggregates, if you farm the next 40 years, you'll build aggregates the next 40 years. And so they collapse much easier than you'll build them. And so that's why we need that's why the biodiversity that Alex is talking about is so important.
What do we see? 3 or 4 worms in that spadeful? Do you have any here?
I haven't seen any worms in here. So if you don't have worms, what does that mean? We didn't till it.
You don't have soil.
Thanks, Alex. You don't have enough food for them. They have to have enough food. If they don't have enough soil food web, they're not going to be there. So we got them there. We don't have them here. That's all. Intuitively, that's about all I have to know. I know which way to lean.
Yeah. What was on field 9 before last? Say that.
It was winter wheat.
And pea the year before that. Yeah, 2 years ago pea, then that fall it went to winter wheat. Last year there was no herbicide. Last year there was no herbicide put on that field. So it was a herbicide-free year. And so again, that really makes a difference on the microbes. Big difference, because you're asking them to detoxify all that, break it all down.
You have any questions?
We got one. On that corn over there. Are you gonna try and graze that before you put down something this fall or winter? Excuse me.
We are love to.
After harvest.
After harvest, would love to. We'll see what the temperature is like. We're not really set up out here for winter water. It's just not. We don't have power out here, and the only tank that we have that can kind of support some colder temperatures is all the way back at the building there, and you know that's a heck of a journey for a few head of cattle. So if it's early enough and we're not real froze, absolutely. But if it's cold, you know, I just don't think it's. We might have the neighbor bring his cows over for a week or so, but it's just too hard with the water.